sometimes it would be really, really nice if someone would just totally pick me apart. Give me something that I can't easily debunk, using its own piss-poor internal logic against it. I want someone to just straight up debunk atheism as if it's just a completely ridiculous idea. Yes, it's a sex thing. Don't kink shame me.
Now, believe it or not, atheism is actually the easiest worldview in the world to refute.
My God, this is it. Are you finally going to make me look like the fool I am? Hot. And outside the bedroom, I have really wanted an opportunity to stretch my thinking muscles and show that I'm not just a really, 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 really pretty face with a helmet on, so you can't tell.
It is because of this one question that we're about to uncover.
What the hell is that? Damn, man, give a guy some warning before literally throwing things into my face. Scared the ever-loving bejesus out of me. And, if it's that easy to do, I have to ask, where has this question been all this time? Fingers crossed it's not just the same exact, repeatedly debunked gibberish that has been kicking about for years, that every atheist and their atheist dog has not only torn apart, but also pissed on the remnants and set them on fire to boot. Atheist dogs have pyrokinesis after all. Don't mess with them, they'll burn ya. Okay, so wait. Is this some kind of card/board game? I'm so confused. I thought this was an apologetics channel. I didn't realise I was going to have to play a couple of rounds of bleeding Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I'll be honest, not a big fan of card games. There is just nowhere near enough explosions in any of those games to keep my easily distracted brain from, "Ooh, look, shiny!"
Hey, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. The Armoury is a Bible game that can be used to teach apologetics effectively.
Oh, okay, so this is an apologetics channel, but they also have a card game. As far as having something to sell you, this is actually at least unique and somewhat interesting, although only in concept. I would imagine that a Bible-based apologetics game is going to be even more tedious than any given card game. Although it might have points go in its favour for the entertainment factor if the apologetics are, well, at the usual level. Because then it'll be hilarious.
In the home to all ages.
Ew, much less into the all ages thing. Can you just let kids be kids? I know you lot can't help it because you need to spread your BS. And the best way to do that is with children because, they are really, really gullible. I always tell kids lies for my own amusement. Like, if they walk on the grass when there's a sign that says not to, the gardeners will come to their room at night and use hedge clippers to cut off their toes. What? I don't say it to my kids. They don't believe anything I say anymore. It's becoming a problem.
Now, this question was actually posed to Jesus by the Pharisees.
A question posed to Jesus. Yeah, I have a few of those, actually. Like, where the hell did he park my Sigma-Mobile? I can't find it anywhere. Do you know how much it costs to get a car-sized helmet welded to the top of a Fiat Punto? And you would think that it would stand out like that, but apparently no. The damn thing's up and Houdini'd on me. Shit's baffling.
Now, the Pharisees weren't stupid people. They knew how to ask questions and entrap people in their words.
So they weren't stupid. Fine, I'll take your word for it. But entrapping people with their questions, that doesn't sound particularly honest, now does it? And you are going to be using one of their questions, the dishonest entrapping people's questions, in order to defeat atheism. Does that not sound a little bit like an admission that you can't win by being honest? Kinda does. But what do I know? I actively try to avoid being dishonest. Unless it's to give kids nightmares, because, well, that's funny.
And this question is devastating if asked to anyone other than someone who has been sent by God.
Will it be, or will it actually be just kinda dumb? And the only reason someone who thinks, you missed that part out by the way, they were sent by God will not be fazed by such a question, because let's be fair, if you legit think that, there's a strong chance that you are as delusional as all the fricks. So your reactions to any questions are going to be, different from the rest of us.
Now we've done a video series how to answer like Jesus. You can see that up there.
Did you say how to answer like Jesus or how to answer my Jesus? Because that wasn't the greatest read in the world, if I'm honest. And I know that we're all supposed to have our own personal Jesus and all that jazz, but I'm pretty sure it's also supposed to be the same guy. But yeah, can you do more takes maybe? I mean, I'm super paranoid about misspeaking, so at the very least, put an asterisk with a correction so you, I don't know, don't come across as completely incomprehensible and remain only slightly incomprehensible instead.
Or in the description below, where we go into the depth of what's actually happening in this account.
Oh, cool. And so as the son of Big Daddy Goddington, he saw that they were being tricksy little beavers and told them to go fornicate themselves with a palm tree, right? God, I wish that's how the Bible was actually written. It would be so much more believable, you know?
Right now, we're just going to be focusing on the question the Pharisees posed, but if you want to see how Jesus responds and why he responded in the way he did, make sure to check out part 2 of that video series.
Well, seeing as your whole thing rests on Jesus' ability to answer this, that no atheismist would be able to answer, I'm going to show it. And the best part is, I don't even have to spoil the question with the answer that you gave because...
But Jesus doesn't answer them directly. He answers them with a question.
Uh-huh. See, if you want to be like Jesus, don't answer a question directed to you. Confound them with trickery, just like the other guys. Is anyone in the Bible honest? Or is everyone just tricking each other all the goddamn time into believing made-up nonsense? Don't worry, I think I just answered my own question.
Now the context of this question is that Jesus has just entered Jerusalem upon a donkey, revealing himself as the Messiah, fulfilling the prophecy in Daniel chapter 9.
That brings up an awesome point. You'll find a lot of Crimsby and Apolly boys will often talk about the idea of all the prophecies that the Bible makes that came true. Unfortunately for them, that seems to only ever be prophecies made in the Bible and them coming true in the Bible. Like, no motherfucker, that doesn't count. You can't say, I'm going to make the people in my book do something, write that they do it, and then claim the book as prophetic. Well, it kind of is, but you just spelt pathetic wrong.
He then proceeds to go to the temple and clear it out of the money changers. This is the second time he's done this.
You know, you think they just put more guards up and posters about, do not let this man in, he has a bad habit of flipping tables and shit. Wreck my shit once, shame on you. Wreck my shit twice, still shame on you, but I should at least see it coming. Maybe get a Jesus attack dog or something.
It's at this point that the Pharisees approach him and ask him this question.
Here it is, folks. The question that's going to completely ruin your atheism boner and just leave you limp and pathetic and, I really don't know where I'm going with this bit. Just ask your stupid question, for Christ's sake.
By whose authority do you do these things?
There it is, folks. The only question you couldn't possibly answer in relation to anything to do with atheism or theism or whatever. You certainly couldn't answer it by, say, not needing any authority to do anything, because you don't believe in a higher power. So you literally don't need any authority to allow you to do shit. Oh no, I accidentally and immediately answered it without even needing a moment because it's such a dumb and pointless question. No one expected that to happen, apart from the people with brains.
My friends, that is the question that only God can answer.
Dude, that's stupid. And the only reason why one might think only God can answer that is if they believe God is real and has authority. But atheists don't think that. Why would they think that? Classic apologetics inability to understand a single thing about their opponents. I'm gonna say it once, atheists don't believe in God. So why the f*** would they even remotely consider the idea of an authority over them in that way? Oh, that's right, they wouldn't.
And this is where atheism gets in a pickle.
I think you'll find literally the opposite happens. Whenever you get these, aha, me am finding the big Brian smart questions to destroy all the atheism. Do you guys just not actually ask any atheists before puking this garbage into a video and crapping that video onto the internet? I mean, I guess you probably just don't know any to do that, but even then, at the very least, you should maybe open with, so, I have this question, which I think is going to give you pause, and then, when it turns out to be kinda, or usually really, dumb, at the very least, you don't look like an arrogant dipshit whilst also being wrong.
And it goes something like this. An atheist comes up to you and says, give me proof that God exists.
Jesus, that's a bit forward. I think a hello or a do you mind if I ask you a question would be nice. This hypothetical atheist is exactly the kind of asshole that makes people think poorly of us. And as much as this probably never happened, at least not in this fashion, if you do ever do anything even remotely like this, would you stop and maybe act like a person? You would be doing all of us, including yourself, a huge favour. Cheers.
All you have to do is say, by whose authority are you going to determine the validity of the truth claims that I present to you?
Oh my God, that's such a nothing answer. And exactly what you said Jesus would do, except even worse, because it's literally just a no you answer. And the thing is, we don't use anyone's authority to determine truth claims. We use evidence and research and testing. You know, that stuff that you can use to actually prove yourself correct? Oh, that's right, you don't know because you've never seen an evidence in your entire life and wouldn't know it if it jumped up and exploded all over your face.
Or by whose authority are you demanding that I give you evidence that God exists?
Okay, so in your little story, an atheist runs up to you randomly in the street and screams in your face to prove God, while you were just having a nice walk minding your own business. Maybe, in that case, that's an answer that makes some sense. But that's definitely not the kind of situation where you are going to be asked that question. That's going to be in the context of you claiming things about reality and God that we then all have to do something based on your claims. But the thing is, we, the atheists, don't buy your claim, so we ask you to prove it. And what you really miss is that when you use that response, I can go, well, by whose authority do you do whatever? You'll say God's, obviously, and then I say, okay, prove that he has authority. And you can't. I mean, you'll try with but book though, and other nonsense. But that, as we have discussed many times, is awful evidence. This is such an incredibly silly question, and you don't even see it. No wonder you have this shit at the top of your comment section. Note, anyone who engages in unconstructive and hateful remarks will be blocked, no questions asked. Blasphemy will also not be tolerated here. Viewing and commenting on this content is a privilege, not a right. You are a guest on this channel. Name calling falls under cyberbullying and is a violation of YouTube's policy, and I will report you. If you can't disagree with charity, then perhaps the internet or the real world is not the place for you. Stick to your atheist echo chambers if you do not wish to be challenged. First off, what is a cyberbull and where can I get one? Second, I don't remember the bit of YouTube's policy about blasphemy. Must have missed that one. Third, you disagree with charity. Not very Christian of you. And finally, for someone who's apparently so confident in their argument, this is just hilariously sad. I love it. And hey, here's my version. Come and have a go if you think you're smart enough. But do be warned, if you say something stupid, people will make fun of you for it. Maybe just don't do that. Lastly, Fun Police will be mocked the hardest for calling out childish behaviour. Motherfucker, you're on Sir Six channel. Childish is the default setting. Get a life.
The Bible is riddled with contradictions. By whose authority are you determining what is a contradiction?
What? This just gets worse and worse. You don't need someone's authority to spot a contradiction. Contradictions are self-evident by their nature of being contradictory. And if you really want to force my hand, by the authority of the dictionary. And while that is me using the book argument, At least my book contains things that are actually factually accurate. So yeah.
And by whose authority are you placing an obligation on me to live my life in such a way that I don't embrace contradiction?
Oh, this guy is unreal. That's freaking hilarious. Dude. No one is telling you can't live a life embracing contradiction. I mean, clearly you do. The only issue is that you expect to be taken seriously. And if you do constantly contradictory bullshit, no one's gonna take you seriously. Oh, that is fantastic accidental humour in attempted profundity. Oh, where most accidental humour is founded.
The God of the Bible is a tyrant. How can you believe in such an evil being? By whose authority are you claiming that the God of the Bible is immoral or a tyrant?
The Bibles? You know, that whole contradiction thing? Yeah, one of the big ones is God is all-loving and all-powerful, and then commits, commands, and just plain allows all sorts of atrocities. So, yeah, by your authority, are you starting to see why this really clever ultimate destroyer of atheism forever might be a little bit silly?
The atheist becomes the one who determines ultimate truth, what is logical, and what is moral. They make themselves God.
Well, I don't agree. If you want to put it like that, that's fine. But that's not a refutation of their position. That's just offensive to your personal sensibilities. And that deep down, that voice at the back of your mind keeps telling you that you don't have to do anything some old tome tells you just because other people tell you it's definitely the word of God. But I say, listen to that voice, because it's also telling you something else very important. It's telling you to bring me whiskey. Actually, I'll have 2 thanks, filled to the top with ice. Cheers.
The problem with this is that you can do the exact same. You say, well, I disagree with you. Now who's right?
Not really, because again, some of us bring demonstrable facts to the table. Some of us don't. I'm talking about you, obviously.
You see, God is the ultimate source and standard of truth, knowledge, wisdom, goodness, justice. So, the question is, by whose authority do you do this? If it isn't God, then it doesn't matter.
No, he isn't, and I'll tell you for why. With this little secret that not a lot of religious folks know. God, right? He doesn't real. But keep it under your hat, yeah? Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the